Hey folks, welcome back to Let's Play Nobunaga's Ambition Awakening. I'm the Mysterious JG, and we were getting a little aggressive against the Hitakayama and some others, and didn't leave a lot of troops back in the center. And Shingen, who I could not get to attack us no matter what I did when I wanted him to attack to try to salvage the last reality. Now he's attacking. And I told you guys I played a little off screen because I was trying not to get too far ahead, and it became apparent that to stave this off with no losses whatsoever would have been it would have taken a bit of doing. And in a previous reality, we actually took the same two castles we have taken from him now, and I gave one of them back through diplomacy to get a truce, and I think that was actually a pretty fun bit of storytelling. That took two castles and returned one to maintain equilibrium, but it was actually to our favor. It felt like something Shingen and Kenshin would do to each other. Because at one point, there's even a bit of a story where Shingen took a castle to try to get Kenshin to attack it, and Kenshin didn't attack it because he knew that attacking that strong point would be to Shingen's advantage, and Shingen had to withdraw and give up the castle. So we've had, like, there's a bit of the reverse of that going on. And that's kind of what I planned to do. It was like, well, I could, if I tried to negotiate for peace right now, I would get it if I gave up that castle, but I wouldn't, when I've negotiated for a truce like that, consistently the AI has made me denounce my alliances, and that would turn the Dade against us, which is not desirable, although certainly we can handle them. But then this just kind of happened, and I think something interesting may be about to happen. Remember, the Ashikaga, Yoshiaki? I can't remember his personal name. But the Shogun, in like the actual canon story / history, and in the history we're trying to do here, he actually likes Terutora Uesugi quite a bit. He gave us, like, he offered to make us the Kanto Kanrai and to change our name to have a character from his name in it, which was this huge honor as well. Because Kagetora Nagao was a traditionalist who was actually respecting the order of the Shogunate and was righteously indignant about the way the Miyoshi had been treating the Shogun's clan. So it kind of makes sense that they're on the same side. And they'd been giving us titles. So we could get a title. That's what I've been doing. But I'm not 100% sure how these work. But we had been getting more prestige from getting further titles. Now we're not actually getting a raise in prestige. We're just spending gold, and we're getting, if I selected this, like we became previously the, I think we became the Echigo Shugo, because that made sense to me. And then I found out, oh, well, Echigo is a region, a sub-region of Orokiru, and all the clans in it became subservient to us when we got the title, and that's fine. But we can add that title on, but it's helping with clans, which don't do that much in this game. And then I noticed, oh, we could dissolve our diplomatic relations with the Shogunate. That doesn't seem like a good idea. It feels weird to ask for reinforcements because they're too far away and they would be attacking a castle. But they can mediate disputes. So I just kind of stumbled into this, but it feels like a trick that Kenshin would pull. That he would leave himself exposed, lure Shingen into an attack, and then use a diplomatic maneuver with the Shogun to save himself from a battle he didn't want to fight. Now, I don't really feel like Kenshin would do that, because he would probably consider it dishonorable to use the Shogun in that way. But as far as a game mechanic in this game, yeah, we can get the Shogun to, we'd have to pick between the Hojo and the Takeda. He can't do it for both, but absolutely the Takeda's attack is more threatening than the Hojo one. So we can make him, he could also force a truce with the Hatakayama, which would make no sense for us. And I'm just curious. Okay, he could attack he could try to attack one of these clans and he would lose. He would lose really bad. But we could have him launch an attack that, if successful, would mean we ruled the castle. But that doesn't make sense, and we're not going to do it. We're going to have him mediate, and we're going to force a 6-month truce with the Takeda. So now remember, we've jumped from reality to reality with me starting new scenarios to see the events. So we had this cool bit before where Kenshin, like we took 2 castles from Kenshin, and then I gave one back as a truce. That's not going to happen. That didn't actually happen in this reality. But in this reality, we're going to take the same 2 castles from Kenshin, and he's going to counterattack to get them back. And now the Shogun is going to come in and say, hey, as a favor to me, let Kenshin keep the 2 castles he stole from you. I will ask the Ashikaga clan to mediate a truce. And of course, we can immediately start giving the Ashikaga more gold. And all we've done is delayed getting a title from them that wasn't doing much for us anyways. This is actually... I wish I could say that I've been planning this all along, and in future games, I probably need to think about holding a mediate wildcard with the Shogunate anytime I'm going on offense as a way to safeguard my backside. But in this case, we just stumbled into what I think is a pretty cool way to get out of this crisis.
Come to an agreement.
We have an understanding. I will act as mediator to form a truce between you and the Takeda clan.
May I?
For my sake, would you cease your war with the Uesugi clan?
I do not mind.
I suppose it is fine. I will do what's honorable and call a truce with the Uesugi clan. Now, this bit of land here, I don't know if we get to take it back or not.
We must make a move immediately.
I don't think we can. I think we end up losing that to the Takeda. But we're going to defeat the Hojo down here anyway. We got these guys who are our allies that are going to take territory away from the Hojo. And overall, that's just a really good outcome for us. That's all I'm saying. So we're defeating the Hatakeyama.
Your orders, if you please.
We got various troops that can return home.
At once. We'll return to the castle.
Looks like troops at Katajo were already defeated fighting either they might have been defeated fighting the Hatakeyama actually. But yeah, I want these 2 guys to I want to see if we can retake this territory that the Takeda grabbed, because this bit of land belongs to Kaizu. This bit of land does belong to Fukashi. This land we own, and it's with us. Okay, yeah, this is the only piece of territory, because this here is with Fukashi. Even though I always feel like this territory should be mine, but this Fukashi has this big like mountain pass that it owns. And I'm not sure if we'll be allowed to retake that or if we're just going to not have our full economy for a bit. But yeah, that was pretty fun. So now we've got labor and a little bit of money. I want to check something out real quick too. This is not critical, but I'm interested. So we had an Ashina clan guy that left us. And there's one guy from the Ashina who joined us who's actually worth keeping around. Even though he's not that happy, but he's at a higher rank. Alright, so he's still with us, and he's loyal. He's with us, and his loyalty's middling. But he's the former clan leader who actually has good stats. This is the guy who left us. And, okay, he left us. He's a Ronin. He's fucking terrible, though. Which is why his loyalty was so low. Because he had the penalties and probably... I think he may have also had... Because when I was playing around off-screen, I loaded the game once and restarted. And I was like, oh, I lost that guy along the way. And I thought it was this guy. So I checked out how to save him and then realized it was this guy. And then I think he not only has the, like, I don't like being looked down, he also has the, like, the general, he has a high, I forget what you actually call the trait in the game. But there's, like, this built-in penalty, Lethal and Grimmeth both have it, where it's like, you know, no man lacks for ambition. And he's got one of those. But his actual, so he's a descendant of Mordekio, son of a dancing girl. He was overlooked as heir and raised by retainer Yushisane Tomita. He instigated a rebellion, but was defeated and took his own life. So that's why. Okay, so he was, he's this guy's brother. No, he's not his brother. They might be cousins or something. No, they do have the same father, but he's not listed as having kinship. He does have kinship. Okay, never mind. They're kin. Yeah, so he's his probably half brother because he's the son of this dancing girl. But he rebelled and failed, so that would explain why it's hard to keep him loyal, because his in-game, the person he's based on from history, betrayed his own clan. So hard to keep him loyal, and he's not worth shit. He sucks. So why would you try hard to keep him? Even though I've tried really hard to keep people I shouldn't have bothered to keep.
At once.
All you got... Oh, we almost lost the Takakuchi tribe, and we didn't, so that's good. But now we have a couple of bucks to spend. There's no tribes to appease, but let's assimilate some tribes, because... How many have I got to assimilate? Several. Okay. But let's get Danzo Kato on board as a full-time officer. Actually, let's hold off. Let's do this when I've got money to just throw around. Because now the thing I want to play with is that I noticed I could vassalize people. And I actually had to go hunting for more information on vassalizing people. Because when you vassalize people, remember, in the very first scenario, we started with whatever clan was at Uzo was a vassal, and then the Jinbo controlled these two clans. I can't remember the name of the clan that was here, but they were a vassal, and then as we played the game, we got a suggestion to absorb them. So I know vassals can be absorbed, and I was trying to read on this, because in my off-screen goofing around, I vassalized a bunch of clans, and then was like, wait, well, what if I want to absorb them to get a different ending? Because the game does have different endings depending on whether you rule Japan with a bunch of vassals or with a bunch of actual guys that are yours. And it turns out that you can't do it immediately, but you can always do it. Like, if a clan is weak enough to accept submission as your vassal, you can eventually absorb them. So I'm going to start... Like, I'm not interested now in marching and taking over these territories. Having vassals can get you in trouble only in the sense that you can get pulled into defending them. But we're kind of already working with these clans down here. I think it would make sense to vassalize these guys and then use the same troops who are already using to fight the Hojo to help defend them if they get attacked. So let's... First of all, let's try to vassalize... see, the Dade like us, the Mogami don't. But the Anto are hostile.
Shall we enter discussions?
And I can't... Okay, so at this moment I can't make vassals of them.
Shall we enter discussions?
I won't be able to make vassals of these guys because we're not... I think the fact that... Okay, these guys have an alliance. That's what's actually stopping it.
Abandon pleasantries and speak.
And I can't vassalize them. That's weird. So off-screen, I think this alliance was not in place. Or maybe it's going to break down eventually. But when they were not allied, I vassalized the Anto. And then I immediately was able to vassalize the Nagao... Or, sorry, the Nanbu and the Kakazaki because they were adjacent to vassals. So it's every so often I need to check and see if these guys are still aligned with these guys, because if they're not, I could just vassalize them all at once. These guys have a truce with the Date.
Shall we enter discussions?
These guys have a truce with the Date as well.
I hear you've something to say.
And these guys we can't vassalize right now because we have an alliance with them. So what I need to be thinking about is, as these alliances break down, do I want to vassalize everybody? Because I will tell you, in all honesty, I did try. I'm not trying for the very first time this idea of letting the Shogun make a truce with the Takeda. I did have one run through where I did that, and I found it by far the most fun and interesting thing to do on screen. But one of the things that's going to happen is that the Takeda are then going to attack the Minoa. And the timing with it off screen was such that my truce with the Takeda ended just in time for me to come help the Minoa castle guys. But that was interesting because I'm always been planning on taking Minoa Castle eventually. But I did grab, it has historical events related to, like, it falls to the Takeda in history. And actually there's historical events associated with it in game, like narrated historical events, because it was this like independent, really well-defended castle between these two Titan forces for a long time. And when it will eventually, I believe, become I'm blanking on the name of it now. It's the we won't see it in this playthrough, but it becomes Ueda Castle, the home base of the Sanada rather. But we're not actually going to see that in this playthrough. All right, well, let's see. What do I want to... Oh, I was playing with substitutes. So let's get chiefs in these substitute
I will
slots.
handle this for you. You have my thanks.
I shall handle it.
I'm deeply grateful.
I don't know what this guy's deal is and why he hates us so much, but I am now I'm curious, but not actually going to do anything about it. Problem is, I do, in order to just have enough guys to man all, I need to consider getting rid of Vulture Beans as the conservator who's making all these people who have bad stats unhappy. Because we are now a powerful enough clan that I think most officers are going to want to stick around and not risk incurring our wrath. So, like, it giving a boost to the loyalty of good officers and penalizing bad officers sounds on the surface like it makes sense. It might not make as much sense as it did at the beginning, now that we're a powerful clan that has prestige, where people are not going to be in a hurry to leave us. Because you need that, like, jobber officers just to be holding territory in your castles, like you just need people who are going to do grunt work of building up castles. There's a march underway here, I guess. Yeah, alright, so I just got a bunch of new officers free, but I'll work on actually placing them later. Don't want a commons. I'd rather have food libraries here. Or a market, rather. Farm is good. We're going to get rid of that fortress eventually. So depots and commons are what I want when there's only 2 slots. And when there's 3, I'll build a market as well. Because this is going to give our capital the maximum capacity to just march troops out. And give those troops the maximum range that they can march. There is no longer an enemy threatening Toishi Castle. Excuse me. Time to decide on the next course of action. I don't Doesn't seem we're needed here any longer. I'll order my soldiers to return. Doesn't seem we're needed here any longer. I'll order my soldiers to return. Agreed. I'm really glad that we got that help from the Shogunate, though. And it feels good, because we've been giving them money for a long time. We did do as he asked. We haven't toppled the Hojo, but we have effectively done what was asked. We rode in, we have held the Hojo in check, we've aided these old school, old guard clans, and allowed them to keep their territory in the Kanto. And I feel like Yoshiteru and Terutora's relationship is pretty good right now. And I'm looking forward to working together with the Shogunate going forward, because they just did us a huge solid. And I think things are only going to improve from now on. Yoshiteru Ashikaga, the 13th shogun, continued work to restore the shogunate to its former glory. As such, he was wary of the Miyoshi clan. He was wary of the Miyoshi clan, whose influence was rapidly declining in the capital after the death of its leader, Nagayoshi. Ever since Nagayoshi's death, the shogun acts as if we don't even exist. He would have been nothing without us. We have used the authority of the shogun to build our power in the capital. If that authority no longer serves our purposes, then perhaps it is time we set it aside. But the shogun is a troublemaker. Retirement or confinement is not enough. He must be done away with. The rumor that the Miyoshi trio and Hisamichi Matsunaga intended to take the life of Shogun Yoshiteru Ashikaga became an open secret among Miyoshi clan members. What a pack of fools. After reigning over the capital, the Miyoshi clan gets thrown into complete chaos because of the death of one man. The shogun need only be a decoration hung in the palace. There is no reason for them to do a thing to him. Stating their names by murdering their lord will earn them nothing. It is an embarrassment that my son Hisamichi would be swayed by the trio's nonsense. As if mocking Hisahide's concerns, the situation quickly escalated. This game is weird. Koei likes to jump back and forth on their take on people. But Hisahide Matsunaga is considered like one of the 3 great villains of the Sengoku Jidai. Along with 2 other guys that I don't really know that much about, to be perfectly honest. Well, no, Mitsuhide, I guess, is one of them because he murders his lord. But they make Hisahide a sneaky guy with like a fucking spider face tattoo in Samurai Warriors. And in Neo, he is wearing like spider-themed armor. Although most of the Neo, like all of Neo and most of Neo 2 is set after Hisahide dies. So he's like the ghostly guy who runs the tea house. And he's actually one of my favorite parts of that game. But when he's alive, he's wearing spider-themed armor and just comes across as a creepy weirdo. But in this game, it's like Hisahide is like, he's watching all this go on, and it's like he's like casually noting people murdering each other, that history believes that Hisahide plotted a bunch of these murders. Anyway, situation quickly escalated. A few days later, the Miyoshi trio and Hisamichi Matsunaga gathered their forces in the capital to appeal to the shogun and advance towards the palace where Yoshiteru lived. The dispute, however, quickly turned into a skirmish and eventually erupted into a battle that none had anticipated. Damn this Miyoshi rabble! Would you think such a grand house so weak? Come and meet your deaths! Prepare yourself, Shogun! Humph! Irk! Some believe that the Miyoshi soldiers had difficulty attacking Yoshiteru due to having studied swordsmanship under Bokuden Tsukahara, but it was only ever a matter of time. Seeing the overwhelming enemy numbers, no one sent reinforcements to the Muramachi Lord's palace. Yoshiteru grew exhausted fighting the constant stream of foot soldiers. To die before seeing the shogunate restored to greatness, what a terrible shame. But my sword rejoices to have so many opponents to cut down. Come then, come face your punishment for treason. See what true swordsmanship can accomplish. The capital, Fujitaka Hosokawa's residence. At the palace? Damn those Miyoshi and Matsunaga fools! While unfortunate, we will be able to assist the shogun. Miyoshi forces have surrounded the palace. Or we will be unable to assist, I mean. Sending reinforcements would accomplish nothing then. As retainers, we must look to the future. The Ashikaga Shogunate must survive. We make for Kofukuji Temple in Nara. The Shogun's brother, Kakuechi Ichiojin, is there. We must not allow the bloodline to end. All of Yamamoto, including Nara, is under Hisahide Matsunaga's influence. Kakuke will be slain if we leave him there. We must prevent this. This event became known as the Iroku Incident. The 13th Shogun, Yoshiteru Ashikaga, was killed, and the government ceased to function. The fools have done it now. The dishonor of slaying their lord will forever stain their name. To think that even Hisamichi would be seduced by those 3 weasels into supporting an assassination. Now the Miyoshi clan won't know where to turn. But the world is an unpredictable place. Because of Hisamichi's involvement in the assassination, a rumor spread through the country that Hisahide Matsunaga was the mastermind behind it all. Oh, just because his father, a famous manipulator, didn't stop the son from carrying out a manipulative plot very similar to what the father was always known for doing, means people falsely believe the father was involved? People claimed it was all his scheme to bury clan leader Nagayoshi's younger brothers, but Hisahide was the type to use such infamy to his advantage. Still, having been labeled the mastermind behind the shogun's death, he earned the hatred of many daimyo. Meanwhile, the Miyoshi trio took control of the capital, but their relationship with Hisamichi soon began to falter. Having lost their common enemy, the Miyoshi trio found themselves in open opposition with the Matsunaga clan. Led by Fujitaka Hosokawa, the former retainers of the shogunate rescued Yoshiteru's brother, Kakuke, who returned to secular life and took the name Yoshiaki Ashikaga. And those events, I think, are messed up and won't happen correctly. But that would be the shogun that Nobunaga would install as his kind of puppet shogun once he takes Kyoto, which also is not probably going to happen because we'll be attacking him by the time he's strong enough to be moving into Kyoto, probably. So the Ashikaga clan is annihilated, and affiliated officers are added to the Miyoshi clan. So I was joking around about how I was looking forward to working with the shogunate, because again, I did not know this. This all just kind of happened. As I was being attacked by Kenshin, I'm like, oh fuck, I really, I left myself open to this. Like, he can't take us out by any stretch. He can't take Kasagayama, but I probably can't prevent him from getting some small gain against us. And then it's like, oh shit, I just hit exactly enough trust to get the shogunate to put a stop to it. And then like, oh shit, a month later. Like, if I'd tried to hold 100 trust from the shogunate in my pocket to use later, we would have just lost that. Like, all of this just kind of happened, which I think is pretty cool. All right. And I'm annoyed because off screen, like, I was able to grab all these vassals, but we haven't advanced time quite enough for that yet. I want to try to avoid Kawagoe Castle. Ah, he's trying to retreat. Okay. Yeah, so the Hojo are trying to retreat from this. And I don't really want to lose this tribe unit.
I await your command.
Because that'll just cost us gold, and we have to go in and appease the tribe, because they're... I do get confused about this, too. Like, this tribe... Like, I don't know what menu you go to get information about the tribes on, to be honest with you. I guess this one. Because you have... Oh, it looks like I've got a few that have the Uesugi as... Okay, hold on. Let's see this. Let's go to my own... No, that's all clans. If I just want to see tribes for the Uesugi... Because there's a score somewhere that shows you their... what their vassalage level is. It's a number. It's tracked. I was reading about it while trying to figure out... I accidentally found out about this while trying to find out about making clans my vassals. So, because this is the Motegi tribe, Toyo, so... So the Motegi tribe... They've got 1,000 soldiers and... Development rate 28. They are in... Oh, they're associated with... How could they be associated with Kasugiyama? They don't have any officers. I'm so confused. They're affiliated with Kasugiyama because they're loyal to me, but their actual... It says their clan name is Nasu. Like, I don't understand this one. Alright, but I'm going to try to absorb them because, like, it does... Like, they only ever come out in these large, like... If I use the march command from this menu rather than selecting individual bases, then they come out to play, but they're really weak units that get destroyed, and then the clans are unhappy with you. It does seem like... There are other games where it's a good idea to keep them around for fodder. In this game, it seems like you're better off just absorbing them when you can. Anyway. Time to find out.
I'm absolutely thrilled.
I've been to Oishi Castle and persuaded the nearby merchants to give us control over 12 fairs. That's good. Nanao Castle has a large army. Does it? Seems like they're down to 400 guys. Can't do anything with the Imperial Court. And, the Shogunate is gone. Like, we don't have the gold word... Like, there's no point... We can, I guess, make... Hold on. These guys are... Okay, we can build trust with these clans that are really far away. Oh, never mind. Those guys are too distant. The Mori are not distant. Okay, the Mori are kind of on the border of what is far enough away. Yeah, the Mori are about as far as we can go. It seems like the Chosakabe are considered a little farther away than the Mori. The Otomo have a bunch of vassals. So we can see the vassalage relationships. We just can't negotiate with them. But yeah, there's no shogunate to negotiate with. I tried to negotiate with the Honganji, but every time we've tried to do that, like, they seem to be in a rush to betray you when you, like, I mean, all clans basically function the same way, but they seem to be in a particular rush to break off the alliance as soon as it's allowed under game rules and attack you if you don't just have enough troops hanging out in their territory that they're afraid to do that. Meanwhile, I can't... I know I got new officers available to post in places. But there's marches underway that's preventing me from doing it. Okay. So because of all the events and all my yakety-yakking, we have not gotten very far in advancing time. But something pretty important has happened. We still have Nanao Castle surrounded. And we have fought off the Hojo. But we have done all of this and maintained but we still got a 6-month truce with the Takeda. So we basically have 6 months to play with rebuilding or attacking Kanazawa Temple, or in theory, which because there's a couple. Actually, there is one thing that I should probably get going on before we go any further. Well, honor combination we can do real quick. Or just clan classification. We got a bunch of new samurai leaders and infantry leaders. I should be so content at having achieved the rank of samurai leader. I will continue to gain honor. Thank you, guy who wanted to be Kanto Konrai. And that Shibata guy who actually marched out of Shibata and had his own domain at the beginning of this thing. He's now at the highest possible rank. But what I'm getting at is so I'm going to call it a little mini session here. That's why I'm kind of stammering and not willing to just cut it and start a new video immediately. But there is a policy postal system is not it. There is a discretionary power assignment. There's one that will provide... The Code of the Samurai, Demence Preservation. Yeah. All right. I think I'm thinking ahead to when we've got a lot more money. When we get, because Grimmeth is giving us Way of the Tokugawa, which has been helping us in battle, and Anataka Tatsu is giving us the ability to seize fairs. What I probably really need to do is save up some money and not spend every penny I've got, so that we can get another couple of overseers. Because what I want is the one... Bobo will give us the one that allows us to seize farms. And then various officers can give us the one that gives us Demence Preservation, which is a thing that's just going to increase the loyalty of any officer who is a landholder. Because one problem I've got now is that we got a bunch of chiefs whose loyalty is in orange or red. And giving them domains... Like, the point of making them not be chiefs and raising them up in the rank is so that we can give them domains to oversee. And if we do Demence Preservation, they'll get a little bonus in loyalty just for having a domain, which would be very useful, because the whole purpose of having them is to just have some kind of generic officers who can make sure that our territories are developing. There's a whole other set of policies where territories can be developed by the, quote, attendants, who are these faceless. They're not even telling you a name of a person. They're just saying, well, presumably somebody works for you and is running this castle. But I think it's like having the lowest possible statted officers running a castle. Things can happen like fairs being seized or even facilities being built by the AI, but it's at the lowest possible speeds and efficiencies. So I'd rather just crank out a bunch of generic chiefs whose loyalty is in orange and red and get them to be where the loyalties are respectively blue or orange and let them run some cities for us. All this and more may happen next time. Other things may also happen next time. Maybe we'll actually get some progress, and I'll do less talking. Bye-bye.